My name is Lecturer Clergy Bishop Kenya Michael Loltome, speaking in Nairobi National Government, Embakasi East Constituency, Embakasi Village, Miongo Ward. Today we want to read the book of 1 Peter, chapter 1, verse 6. And our topic today is praise to God for a living hope for the suffering people. Alright, praise to God for a living hope for all suffering people, particularly in Kenya and other nations. So this book introduction, we are going to read first of all the introduction, and then we'll read now the text, which we call it the textual sermon, one verse. Could it be great for you to be free of trouble? That is what I want to just to question anyone who is suffering. Could it be great to be free of trouble? I hope it is yes. All right. So Peter, the apostle, saw that the increasing hardship and persecution had caused some Christians to wander away from their faith during that time of Nero, Roman Emperor Nero, who was ruling actually Asia Minor. Okay, a country called Turkey, which was also under Roman Empire control state, under the rule of a cruel emperor of Rome called Nero. That was sometimes between Anno Domini, or if you subtract 2000 or 24 years, you can get the real number now of those years, because we call it Anno Domini, after Jesus' birth. He wrote it actually Anno Domini, which is AD 60 and 64. This man was also under imprisonment, and he was beaten for his faith, this apostle of Jesus Christ. But nevertheless, he took a note of encouraging his believers, okay, that for just a very short while they will suffer, but later on they will enjoy God's privileges. So if we read actually 1 Peter chapter 1 verse 6, for that kind of a living hope, he told them, in this you greatly rejoice, though now for a little while you may have to suffer, great in all kinds of trials. Okay? I told them actually just for a short while you will suffer. But whether you are on earth here, because suffering is not a scar that cannot leave human beings, neither even poverty. So it's not a scar. You can be free of problems and free of suffering of any kind, even poverty, and spiritual or physical. All right. So he encouraged them to have a living hope, to praise God, because that kind of suffering is just for a while. We are not actually permanent on earth here. There is another place awaiting us called heaven for those who are going to be, striving for doing righteous thing and holiness in their lives. We call heaven. There's another planet called, heaven. You don't know where you come from. There was a time I was not here in Kenya, but now I'm in Kenya. God actually has used his own, instrument like human beings to have me, to keep me in a stomach like my mom for 9 months, and breastfeeding for many years, and then other man also. All right, the combination of my mom and blood and a man, and that's where I am. So it means where God has brought me before the conception, he will take me back there. And he has also said it clearly. He told even Prophet Jeremiah in 1:5, he has ordained him and anointed him as a priest of Israel before his birth, before he was born. So God's foreknowledge is not limited. He knows what is ahead of me and where I come from and where I will be even after death, which of course it is eminent in a way, because I'm a human being. It doesn't matter. 1,000 years, one day for God, and one day is 1,000 years. So it means I was born and I will live this world even before God's standard time of one day is enough. Is elapsed. All right. So that is what is happening that time, and is still happening. So remember today, what we are learning is actually suffering people, and they are given hope by that man. There was a lot of discrimination that time by the Roman Empire, particularly to Christians. First of all, it was Christianity versus Judaism, which people of Israel don't believe in Jesus Christ as God, and Christians also been in conflict with them. And so the state also intervened and also, decided to be hard on Christians. Roman Empire at that time, all right, the ruler called Emperor Nero, he was siding with Pharisees, priests of Judaism religion more than Christianity, and so he made them to suffer. He discriminated them, and he also imposed a lot of violence in all forms, beating them, arresting them, and killing them and torture them. All right, including even Apostle Peter and others like Paul have been executed. So it was only John out of so many Jesus Christ apostles and disciples, which are about 70 later on, but initially 12. It's only the one who have survived, being killed by human beings. That Roman Empire was John only. The rest of others have been killed. So what was happening at that time? The Roman Empire, then government, was under cruel Emperor Nero rule, and they used to do what we call deflection in his role. What we mean by deflections is actually a ruler, when he sees people becoming anti-government, he used to impose some kind of a threat to them and even allow them to be killed. All right? And ban places and cause accidents, like what we're experiencing now even in Kenya. All right? So that you can deflect the minds of people or to sway minds of human beings to criticize him and the bad rule of that government. So we don't know whether our government now, Kenya President Dr. William Samoei Ruto and his Vice President or Deputy President, that case, which is Vice, is still here, Mr. Rigati, Honorable Rigati, and both excellencies. We are experiencing in Kenya a lot of, the return of road carnage. It is started here in People's Daily. Apart from other problems like now lack of, social welfare, the country now return again to road accidents and air accidents. Kenyans are raising now alarm after losing a lot of human beings. After every second, we are told close to about, in mortality rate, about 500,000 of Kenyans are leaving the country because of lack of what? Services. Okay? People are dying in hospitals. Doctors are now on strike. Schools are accidents all over. You can see it here. University and secondary school and primary schools here. You can see vehicles and the planes crashing all over the country. So, and doctors are on strike. People are dying in hospital because of lack of, services, and they are sick people. Some of them are in life-supporting machines. So about 500,000, not even 1,000, millions almost, I live in Kenya. So we are going to live in a country with very few people very soon, under this regime of our president, Dr. William Samoei Ruto. That's what is happening. Okay? It is actually revealed that people are dying in Kenya anyhow, more than any other country in the whole world. Why? Even during that time, during Emperor Nero, Christians have been suffering, all righteous people, including even unrighteous later on. All right? And that kind of, persecutor of Christians called infamous Emperor Nero, who has attacked even and deflected public criticisms against himself by causing a lot of accident in the country, all right, of Rome that time. We are told even he has started a kind of a fire, a kind of a untamed kind of a fire, which has destroyed all the projects in that country, all right, and human beings. And the citizens of Rome, outraged, all right. And the emperor started a kind of a fire, all right. That was believed to be a condition for him not to deflect people criticism or becoming anti-government of Rome that time. So he himself, we are told, when the Roman country was burning for lack of services, including untamed forest fires, he himself was actually playing music. All right, that's what we are told. He was calling people to a place like now State House to go and sing with his officials and do luxurious kind of behaviors like what the Kenya president is doing nowadays. When people are suffering, we are seeing people enjoying. If you go to the place of parliament now, these places now where these people are using to, to held conferences, parliament places, or this of higher government officials, you can see food there, because it is self-service. They will actually just leave even food which can feed almost the whole world of if not a constituency, for a lunch or supper in that case. Okay, wasting a lot of resources. Okay, they are actually not even. They are just. There are a lot of drinks there. There is a lot of food there, and they leave it rotten again there and given to dogs, rather than given to human beings, or even being, they could have sealed it, in boxes and throw it to Kayole here or Mpakazi village here, all right, for people to eat. But now they're wasting and throw the dogs. So that is exactly what's happening that time. Okay, the building projects have been destroyed, citizens have been burnt. Okay, and for Nero to cool his criticisms of people, he also told human beings, his officials, that Christians have been anti-terrorists, all righteous people, anti-terror, anti-government, and he started actually lighting even fire, to burn them on, and suspended them on poles and set them on fire as light for Nero's evening festivities. Unaona, unajua mafuta yote, even petroleum is actually human and oils. And the kind of oil now we are using, fossils, all right, is actually, according to the geological scientists, it is simply because during the Noahic kind of flood, all human beings and all trees and the whole world was, was destroyed by flood. That kind of oil now, it has become now what we call fossils. It is now the crude oil we are using today. Human oil, animals, trees oil, because they are also oil, according to the geological scientists, like geologians now ourselves. We are geological scientists, some of us, all right? Because we are learning about living and non-living things, including, minerals and things of that nature. So any trained geologian pastor knows almost all subjects and beyond. Because the Bible, 66 books, the Word of God has all subjects and beyond. Even some, you get it from vision, visions and dreams and, things of that nature. God can speak to you also directly to disclose some secret which many people don't know, non-believers. So that's exactly what was happening. This man was using even human being to fuel, his evening festivities together with his luxurious kind of officials. If you are suspended on a pole and you get burned, you will see someone burning like just a candle because of that oil which is in me now. If you burn me, God forbid, you can see me burning surely, and it will take hours and hours for you to be just on seeing a light, very proper light, like electricity and things of that nature. And that's why now we are using petrol and petroleum and parabens to lit fires. That's what's happening there. So Nero tortured Christians and he also called them barbaric spectacles, and crucified them and sewed them in animal skins to be torn apart by the wild dogs. Alright? When a king become or a president or any leader become inhuman, he enjoy seeing people dying. Shaitani naingia mtu mpaka afurahi mpaka aone watu wanalia. And you will see somebody laughing. And you will see somebody, these our leaders now have a very big screen kind of TVs. When they are seeing people dying in these villages, I'm now speaking in Mpakazi village, alright, they don't care. They are enjoying. When they are seeing flood, sweeping human beings which are in, unquestionable places, they are laughing. When they are seeing people dying of hunger, they are laughing. Alright? And they are enjoying. They are together with their families. This person cannot actually put himself in the shoe of that person to know. It is rather going to be so enjoying kind of whatever. When you see people dying because of wars like Ukraine versus Russia and Haiti and other nations, alright, okay, And Kenya, likewise, people are dying of hunger. And any other nation which are being ruled by dictatorial leaders, they are enjoying, they are laughing. Mtu ajue kwamba the way that person feels is the same as himself or herself in that place of his. That's why now these people are eating food, our leaders, even in Kenya, and throw them to the dogs. Because it's the self-service kind of whatever. And this food, there's a lot of drinks here if you want to take anything. Because this is parliament, during lunchtime or any other places of these human beings, these big hotels, strip hotels, when they have these conferences of theirs, a lot of food will be left for dogs to eat. They don't even eat. Alright? Because they know, you have a lot of money, they are self-contented, and they know there are many places they can go and eat food also rather than that place, So they are ever in hurry in that culture of theirs. And remember, actually, we have human beings who are very terrible in their cultures. Okay? And that is why Christian for that time, decided, became resentment to continue to grow against Christian for the opposition versus Roman Empire of that time. If you read, actually, 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 3 and 4, and the book of Acts chapter 19, 23 verses and 27, that time one Roman governor executed even a Christian merely for refusing to burn incense to a pagan gods and to worship their emperor. Alright? Because this man was also having his own place of worship. Pagan completely. It's like even now Kenya, our president have his own church. We don't know what this nameless church called. It's not a denomination. And the deputy president likewise, Rigathi Gachagua, and our president, deputy president, Dr. Ruto. So one Roman governor, we are told in that time, if you read Act 19, chapter 19, verses 23 to 27, and the book of 1 Peter, chapter 4, verses 3 and 4, you will see one Roman governor executed Christian merely for refusing to burn incense to the Emperor pagan gods actually. Alright? We don't have private churches everywhere in the whole world. Even the great nation of America, greatest nation of America in the whole world, nowadays, His Excellency President Biden does not have his own private church. I'm sure. I've never heard. Alright? Or any other nation. Or Britain, Prime Minister. Or even anywhere, Israel. His Excellency Benjamin Netanyahu has his own permanent place of worship. Those places are in a cooperative kind of a fellowship for all human beings. And that's why we have Anglican Church of Kenya, Presbyterian Church of East Africa, and also Catholic Church, Seventh-day Adventist, Baptist churches, Northwest Baptist churches, and other churches also. Alright. That is why we have places of worship for everybody, not private. And that's why now Emperor Nero was having his own pagan place. And false teachers, false priests, who are there to do kind of a politicking and killing other human beings. Alright? Even though the president is actually having a church, then where are other churches? He will suppress other people, human beings. And the vice president likewise. He will suppress places of worship. Because now he has money and he has power in authority. Authority carries power, but a place of a president has a lot of power. Okay, and that's why now you can do anything, and that's why now the doctors are on strike. All right, they are denied the services, they are denied money, their money are deducted. All civil servants of Kenya Republic and parastatals of government, instead of they are saying housing tax. So they are cutting their salaries. And these human beings are not living even in decent houses. We are having many workers here. People are working even police lines, stations. People are living, in a very destitute kind of poor lives. All right? So the people now are, suffering, including public servants, including civilians like us in these villages. And cash transfers are delayed. They are not giving even people, those poor people, those kind of transfers. Cash transfers for schools are delayed. Alright? Road carnage. People are dying anyhow in our roads. Alright? and even in the air, networks. Okay? So human being death has become common in Kenya. Be it you are walking on a road, pedestrians, be you walking, doing other things, you are in schools or universities or public, you are in danger because of our roads, Economy has started crashing down in all for 7 county government. Even several times, the governors are on strike because of lack of, services of money, yearly development annual program money, which are meant for capital expenditures, supplementary expenditures, and recurrent expenditures. All right, they are not there. So they are also on strike indirectly, and they are complaining, but nobody's hearing them. So what's happening is actually the Kenya government is turning to be a Roman Empire of AD 60, before when Jesus left this world. Which if you subtract now to 2024, you get the right years. Okay? Alright? You will get the right years. So what do I want to say here? We Kenyans, we need to be very careful. And that's why other nations are changing their leadership. Like Haiti. Alright? And now there is a transitional kind of, a kind of a panel which are going to be instituted again. Okay? Because now the Prime Minister has solved the problem partially. Honorable, Henry, who has resigned, the former Prime Minister of Haiti. He's a very wise man. He said, if I'm the one who is bringing problem, I will resign. So now the leader now which is there, people like, is an ex-police boss called Babaku, Jimmy Babaku. He could have been given a chance to organize themselves because they are not mad. That country is now overthrown by the law enforcement agency called Haiti Police of Haiti. So they know what they're doing. They're not small kids. They can make that country better than many countries, surely, honestly speaking. But any other interference from internal aggressions to go and plan their own ways of life will create more problem again to them to fight. So I could have just advised even America president, with all due respect, His Excellency, the great nation of on earth, President, His Excellency Joe Biden, just to leave that country and support them, to give them money, to send money for the president and the prime minister now called Jimmy Babaku, to give them money directly rather than having other outsiders given money to go and, make a kind of a transition or kind of a smooth transition, which is not there. They don't know that country. So I could have advised His Excellency, the great nation on earth, president, which is supporting many nations, which are being, overcome by crises or problems or fightings, to give Haiti prime minister, the new prime minister, His Excellency Jimmy Babaku, okay, money, so that they can actually start to, to bring that country which is in ashes now into a normal kind of normalcy, or a sanity, leadership, all right? Because they are now, the war now subside. They are not killing each other now anymore. So that is my word today. And remember, even righteous people can suffer, like what we have now read there. During the Rome time of Nero, Christians had suffered more than even Judaism, who don't believe in Jesus Christ. And out of that, the Roman Empire cleared so many human beings which are innocent. And remember, God can allow even innocent people to leave earth so that He will solve this problem up there in heaven, because there is now a place called heaven in Isaiah 66 verse 1. He will solve the problem of those suffering people now there, because now you will have a better mansion. If you read John 14 verse 6, you will be given a room of yours to praise God there and remain, in a good, decent life of rest and joyful life, praising God together with good angels. And bad angels will be now on, on fire together with all bad people. In Revelation chapter 20, verse 11 to 15, all right, verses. Revelation chapter 20, verse 11 to 15, all wrongdoers will be judged and thrown to the lake of fire, which I hate so much myself. That's why I found myself worthwhile to confess my sins in verse John 1:9, to be accepted in God's kingdom in John 1:12, so that I cannot be in that lake of fire. Alright? So what we want to tell Kenyans today, let us refuse, a kind of a burnt incense, or to follow also bad false god doctrines, because now even our leaders have started to have their own false god doctrines, and they are now in a position of power. And power carries a lot of weight. Alright? Power actually carries a lot of weight. When we want to define power, we are told power in a dictionary kind of explanation. Alright? Define power in a various ways, which are sometimes complicated, rather complicated. But it's a strength and vigor or in leadership. Alright? The person in a position of power can use that power in a good way or in an evil way to kill people. And when now the source of power actually belongs to God, obvious. We don't doubt that one, because everything belongs to God. In Psalms 20 verse 7, okay, we are told that we boast. Even David is told actually his enemies, he was boasting in God's chariots and horses, alright, which God is going to give him in his victory in Psalms 20 verse 7. So we have legitimate power users, which are sometimes not the source of God's power, and it end up being now a very bad government or illegitimate government, because it will be overthrown by the power of God. So we want actually to tell human beings there are sources of power, which of course from God, obvious, and from human beings as well, which God is going to bestow them. Bad and good leaders, God can use them also for us to repent and grow closer to God. So power can be legitimate or illegitimate in that case, and the source of power is from God. In Psalms 24 verse 1, and we have also authority and power. Authority and power are different. Okay, authority is the formal aspect of power, while power can be exercised very effectively without one having authority. Like now, Babaku is just an ex-policeman of Haiti, but he has power now. He's now the prime minister. So remember, also we have different types of types of power. We have positional power, we have reputational power, we have coalition power, like in parties, and then communicational power. People have sometimes, some of them, and success power, and financial power. People who are rich and using others badly, and also personality power, and also program power, and dedication power, and spiritual power. Types of power. So leaders can use power in good way or in a bad way, and that's why I'm requesting the current president, who is leaving the office very soon, because the stock market of Kenya Republic, stock market economically is crashing down. President Dr. Ruto, they are going to leave the office very soon, I'm sure, together with Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. But before that, they better not misuse power to harm us, all right, or to deflect the attention of human being by allowing some crisis to appear, like a lot of problem facing human beings during their leadership. For the few days they are going to be in position of power, because now you can he's now even his own home here, like Bomet. They have heckled the president. They told him, go away, we don't need you. And that is the son of that place. Alright, he's the son of Kalenjin, Cape Sigis. And they told him, go back, because you have now not fulfilled your manifesto promises that you are going to help us. Instead, you are now harvesting out of the poor people's pockets. The few mama bogas, people who are selling, vegetables, and street people with, moving with cats to feed their families, hand to mouth life. They are told to pay taxes. The public servants and everybody, you have to pay taxes. And these taxes, we don't know where this money are going, because there's no developmental agendas. In all for 7 county government, 290 constituencies, 1,450 wards assemblies, parliaments. Where the money? Is the president now and his officials are trying to recover the money they've been using in bribery during August elections last year. August 9, 2022 election last year. They are now recovering their money and they are using with their families. It is wrong, actually. So what do I want to tell Kenyans? Remember, I'm also a politician. I look forward to be Kenya president come 27 elections. And I'm going to be assisted by 3 other human beings. Vice President, retired Kenya Army Brigadier, Honorable Gugubo, Jeremiah from Bungoma, Luya, and also Vice President, Prime Minister, Power of One, who is going to be, in charge of government businesses, all of them, come to 7 elections. That is none other than former, Kenya Vice President, is Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, is a Kikuyu, okay? And also I'm going to be assisted by my First Lady, which I'm going to marry very soon, Supreme People's Power President Lady, young girl, alright? Supreme People's Power President, Sir His Excellency Dr. Raila Amolo Odinga, youngest daughter, Honorable Inimka Raila Amolo Odinga, is going to be my wife very soon. Alright? Is also a leader, East African Assembly Member of Parliament currently. He's going to assist me in politics. He has a master's degree in political science, and he's also a Luo. His father has been a prime minister, so he's so much experience. A young lady, alright, in leadership qualities, and he also served. So he's going to deputize me, and no, he's going also to be my wife, and the wife of a president is also a president in a way. He has an office, and he has a center government. He also to advise me, obvious, alright, because he's already a leader and experienced. He's a politician already. East Africa Legislative Assembly Member of Parliament, representing Kenya among so many countries, about 11 countries of East Africa. So it's not a simple